Good evening all. Do you hesitate to speak English because you're afraid of making mistakes? Have you ever missed an opportunity just because you couldn't express yourself fluently? If yes, then this story is for you. Let's dive into the inspiring journey of Abdul, a young man who turned his weakness into his greatest strength, and discover how you can do the same. The English journey of Abdul, from fear to fluency. Abdul was a hard-working young man from a small village in India. He had big dreams of working in an international company, but one thing held him back: his lack of English skills. The struggle begins. In school, Abdul was an average student in English. He always felt nervous while speaking and often made mistakes. Whenever he tried to speak in English, people laughed at him. His confidence shattered, and he began avoiding situations where he had to speak English. One day, he applied for a job at a reputed company. He passed the technical interview with flying colors, but when the interviewer asked him to introduce himself in English, he froze. He struggled to form sentences, and after a few minutes, the interviewer said, "I'm sorry, but English communication is important for this role." Abdul walked out of the interview room with disappointment. That day, he made a promise to himself: "I will learn English, no matter how hard it is." The transformation begins. Abdul started his English learning journey with determination. He followed a strict routine. 1. Reading. He began reading English newspapers and books daily, even though he understood very little in the beginning. 2. Speaking practice. He stood in front of the mirror and spoke in English every day. He also started speaking with his friends in English, even if they laughed at his mistakes. 3. Watching and listening. He watched English movies with subtitles and listened to English podcasts. 4. Writing. He maintained a diary where he wrote about his daily activities in English. 5. Learning from mistakes. Instead of feeling embarrassed, he learned from his mistakes and corrected them. Months passed, and Abdul noticed an improvement. His confidence grew, and he no longer feared speaking in English. The big test. After a year of relentless practice, Abdul applied for another job at the same company. This time, when the interviewer asked him to introduce himself, he spoke fluently. He answered all the questions confidently, and at the end of the interview, the interviewer smiled and said, "You have improved a lot. Welcome to our team." Abdul's hard work paid off. He got the job and proved that dedication and consistent practice can help anyone master English. Moral of the story: learning English, or any skill, is not about talent but about persistence. Mistakes are part of the journey, but those who keep going despite failures will succeed. If Abdul can do it, so can you. Keep practicing, stay confident, and never give up.